you're constantly bombarded, with you can lose more than you have, and previous experience and outcomes and results are not indicative of future results. So you know that subconsciously, and you also know the times when you were looking at price action, it didn't do what you thought it was going to do. And that would have materialized as a losing trade, but you'll filter that out. You'll pretend that never happened, like you didn't see it, but you really did. And your subconscious knows that. You may be making no mental note of it, but subconsciously, your emotions and your psyche is remembering that as that's something that triggered you, but you're trying to block it out. And then when you start trading with real money, this is the chemistry behind why it's difficult for you. You may do it really, really well in a demo or paper trading. And then when you go to a live account, real risk setting, all the things that you did wrong, not practicing properly, not managing risk, you have not conditioned yourself or desensitized yourself to doing it wrong and not being tore up because of it. You're going to do it wrong. Everybody that's going to ever trade in the future will do it wrong. I will do it wrong. You'll do it wrong. But how much skin is going to come off of that? How much flesh is going to be removed from you? How much equity is it going to consume? You have control over that. So if you look at these things and you use them as milestones for intellect, like a winning trade or a series of winning trades means you're smart. It doesn't mean you're smart. It just means that you made the right decisions at that time under those current circumstances. But the risk has to be defined all the time. And that initial risk is not limited to that's all it's going to be. You can find ways to limit that even less. But you have to look at price action. You can't just marry the idea because you're now in a trade and you just can't bring yourself to take a losing trade, because what happens if I get out of it and it moves in my favor? Well, what happens when you don't listen to the logic I'm teaching you and it smokes you every single time at maximum loss? Every time you offer up risk to the marketplace, it's going to take it. If you're offside, it means you're in the wrong direction of the market and you have stop loss that's allowing them to take that. You are liquidity and they will consume you. So when I teach price action, it's important to note that these rules are there for you to learn from and also to trust over time. But you can't trust it unless you're in here doing these exercises where you're watching it real time and not being afraid of it not painting in your favor. You need to experience that. How are you going to react to that? And then journal that. Are you frustrated because even though you were just tape reading it, it didn't pan out? And how does it make you feel? What's your chemistry like at that moment? Are you hopped up and you're just angry? Now you want to vent? Do you want to go online and complain? Do you doubt the concepts? Do you doubt yourself ever learning how to do this because of that? They see what I'm doing, and they know that nobody in their house does anything like this. They recognize it. I turn away so many partnerships and business arrangements, teaching clinics and circuits. I get it asked all the time. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in your success. I want you to supply to me for the rest of my days a wonderful testimonial email that I can read and share with my family that I have been such a blessing to you, such an encouragement to you. And I want to have that moment where I get welled up in my eyes and I appreciate that you spent time and told me you did this thing and you were successful and you endured. Because I was there. I went through it just like you are. And damn it, when it happens, it feels so good. It feels like you arrived. You have a sense of purpose. And you are encouraged for your future. Whereas right now, a lot of you probably aren't encouraged. You see this stuff and it feels hard. I know. But I'm showing you. You have to show up and you have to put the work in. You can't shortchange it. There's no shortcuts. There's no fast track. You gotta go through it like this. And once you have that skill, it's like riding a bike. You don't lose it. This skill set, once you know it, there's a lot of people out there wanting to connect with people that can do this. And money is the easiest thing to get a hold of. The skill is the hardest thing to obtain. And some of you are rushing through this to try to get to the money. And that part is easy. You may not be funded enough right now. You may not have the capital to be able to do it right now. Focus on the skill. There's so many opportunities for you to be paired up with someone that does have the money. But you can't even imagine the life that's possible with just a little bit of effort knowing this. When you watch these candles paint like this, to someone that doesn't know what we're doing, what the pursuit of even learning this skill set would yield, this seems like nonsense. Like, what's the point of this? But see, you know what you're doing. You're trying to build another income. So you know your needs. You have something that's, well, anchored in a need. You need to be able to do this. You can't imagine not doing it now. And you've subscribed to the idea that I'm going to put myself through this and I'm going to learn. And that's awesome. That's great. But there's going to be days where you're going to feel like you want to quit. And you got to lean on your journal. All the instances where you said, this is what I expected to see, and it panned out. That's your encouragement.